Thinking Aloud. Conversations on the leading edge of knowledge and discovery with parapsychologist Jeffrey Mishlove.
Hello and welcome. I'm Jeffrey Mishlove. Today I want to share with you some of the comments that I have deleted from the New Thinking Aloud video channel comments section. And I'm referring to the comments under each video. Let me start out by saying that in general, my philosophy is not to delete comments. I would prefer never to have to delete comments. And one of the reasons is that I like the idea that the comments reflect the collective consciousness of our viewers, a broad spectrum of thoughts and ideas, opinions, and feelings that come across. However, in fact, I do delete comments, and I have that power because I own this channel, and I use my own discretion, which means that to some degree it's capricious, to some degree it's inconsistent. Whether a comment gets removed or not may depend on just how busy I am at any particular day. I think I've mentioned many times that I read all the comments. I just don't have time to respond to them all. I know there are YouTubers who do. They respond to each and every comment, and I just can't do that. But I have found that some comments absolutely must be deleted. I don't have any tolerance for racist comments. And let me put it even more strongly. I want this channel and all of the comments to reflect a sense of respect for all the participants. So when I see comments that are just out and out nasty and insulting, I will delete them. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be critical, because there are many thoughtful, critical comments. And I may disagree with them, or I find them troubling or disturbing. Maybe I have to take them to heart because of that. But some comments are simply an expression of disgust without any real thought put into them. And this is, after all, New Thinking Aloud. So if you have a critical comment and you couch it in a thoughtful manner, it's likely not to be removed. Here are some examples now of comments that I have removed, and I'm going to put on my glasses so that I can read. They're not in any particular order, but here's a person who he commented on a beautiful discussion on consciousness and cosmology. He said, "Terrible lecture," and gave him a headache. Well, I can tell you right now, if the video is giving you a headache or a stomach ache, take some medicine, go see a doctor. Just telling me about your physical complaints in that way isn't going to get you very far. I'm likely to delete such a comment. Here's another one, and this person has posted multiple times. There are spammers, of course, who are promoting their own ideas, their own websites, and so on. And here's somebody called Art King who has posted multiple times. Check out the canvas paintings of divine consciousness. Now, normally, if you want to promote something, and it's something positive and something related to the videos, I will allow that once or twice. But if it becomes a nuisance, if you're constantly posting spam like that, you're going to get deleted. And at some point, I might even block you from the channel altogether. I'll tell you this, if you put blatantly racist and hostile comments on, you will get blocked from the channel. After all, we have over 80,000 subscribers. I don't need the nuisance people. I can easily block people from this channel completely if the comments become hostile and negative. Like, here's somebody who says, this one is almost funny, but it's not really. He says, "Fuck all humans that don't appreciate and love their animals." It was unnecessary. I think maybe it was trying to be cute, but trying to be cute sometimes does not work very well. Now, let me say this about politics. I've been very clear for a long time with my viewers. I am a lifelong liberal Democrat. That is my political bias. I never try to hide it. But in general, we don't talk about politics on this channel. I talk about parapsychology, spirituality, philosophy, psychology, health, science, and culture. And I, in general, try to avoid current events. But from time to time, they will come up. From time to time, my bias will show. And I think viewers know that I'm open to discussions with people who don't share my particular biases. Jason Rezza-Georgiani, for example, is one of my favorite guests on the New Thinking Aloud channel, and his politics are very, very different from mine. But he is willing to discuss politics respectfully and thoughtfully, and I admire that wherever it comes from. But I have viewers who, for example, in the recent series with Glenn Aparicio Perry, who is writing about politics mostly from the perspective of indigenous people and Native Americans, where there is respect for both the conservative and the liberal points of view. But some of you, I think maybe you're followers of Jason, for all I know, you're right-wingers and you get terribly offended at anything that might even be slightly critical of right-wing politics that you host. And so you respond with vitriol. Like this person who says, with all due respect, this was just another one-sided leftist circle jerk, poisonous to common sense, and ends up by calling us all commies. That's going to get deleted when you talk that way. Be respectful. People who disagree with you about politics aren't all commies, or aren't all evil, or aren't all stupid. So, and there was quite a lot of that, frankly, and it comes primarily, but not exclusively, from the right. Here's a person who watched a video on having to do with near-death experience and says, this person should read the Bible, and please tell her to do that. Well, that if you're here to propagandize for one religion or another, also that's likely to be deleted. And here's another person who, in responding to a political post, talks about a Marxist infection that is lasted for over a century, and it is a deadly virus. That kind of talk really rankles me. I have to say this. If you think that you understand the source of evil in the world, I have 3 words for you. Look inside yourself. That's where you will find the devil residing. So people who think they can identify the source of evil that is plaguing humanity, really, it doesn't belong on this channel. I think I've been very clear about my perspective. I embrace the whole universe. There is no part of the universe that is unentangled from me. And frankly, I think unentangled from you too. Here's a comment that got deleted. I hate Jell-O. Well, it's just totally silly and totally irrelevant, has nothing to do with the talk, unless it was some attempt at being cute and nasty. Here's a person who says they don't like to see me smiling because it makes their face hurt. Well, if you've got a problem with your face, go see a doctor or take an aspirin. Don't tell me about it. Here are comments that are totally irrelevant, but political diatribes about the New World Order and why we've got to get rid of them, or why everybody needs to learn about the Zelenko Protocol, or how come all products are made in China. And how about the mainstream media talking points? Because everybody knows the mainstream media has been proven to be corrupt and they lie daily. That's not an intelligent conversation. It's a diatribe. And I rarely range into politics, but I hope that when I do, it's not a diatribe. Here's one who talks about woo. He's a New Age woo. Dear me. If you think that I'm putting up New Age woo on this channel, I'm happy to hear you give your reasons why. If you think that some of my guests are phony or they're faking or they're lying, don't just insult them. Tell me why you think you can justify that kind of talk. It probably will be kept up. Any sort of thoughtful critique is welcome, even if it disagrees with me. I welcome disagreements, as a matter of fact. I think that's how we learn. But when it gets to the point of simply, it's like you want to barf on the comments section. I'm sorry if you're having indigestion, but that's not what New Thinking Aloud is for. And let me continue on. Here we have somebody who says leftism is a disease. Well, so is rightism is a disease. Here's a person who responded to another person who they were having a dispute. Sometimes what happens is a person puts a comment in the comment section, one of the kind that I think don't really belong in the comment section, but other viewers respond, and it leads to what could be a thoughtful, interesting discussion, or at least a debate of some sort. And when that happens, I often leave it up. I figure I don't need to delete it because other viewers have already called this person out. But in this case, that particular person responded by saying, "Thanks, Professor," which was meant in a condescending tone, like, "Who are you to talk to me like that? Are you a professor?" Treat each other with respect, even if you disagree. Don't condescend to me or to my guests or to each other in the comment section. And chances are your comment won't be deleted, because I want a vibrant comment section. I truly do. Here's someone who writes, "These liberals are the least self-aware individuals on the planet. Typical leftist garbage." It wasn't leftist garbage. It was a program by Glenn Perry, which was very respectful, in my opinion, of both right-wing, conservative, and liberal positions. But a balanced point of view for some of you is considered leftist garbage. You're entitled to your opinion, but if you can't express it more eloquently than that on this channel in the comments section, it'll get deleted. Here's somebody, often I get people who say this: "I love your channel. I've been watching it for years, but this is shit." And I sometimes leave them up because I think, well, you're trying to be balanced. You're trying to be nice. But frankly, praising me or praising the channel and then saying something really unjustified and really nasty about a guest or a topic that we're covering can very likely get you deleted. So this person writes, "A trash interview on a channel that is mostly gold." Oh, I appreciate that you think the channel is mostly gold. And sure, I do have a bias. If you say I hate the channel with no justification, I'll probably delete it. If you say I love the channel with no justification, I'll probably leave it up. Here's a person who says, I think this is with regard to spoon bending and remote viewing. He says, I'm so glad you brought the military into this. It shows you have no morals, no ethics, and don't care what Psi is used for. Now, I have to say this. I'm not critiquing all the grammatical errors and misspellings. I know there are YouTube channels that do that. They read the comments and make fun of all the errors. But I happen to know that half of our viewers come from outside of the United States, and English may not be your first language. Or maybe you didn't have as much formal education as I have had. So you misspell words. It's very, very common, and that is not going to get you removed from the comments section. But if all you want to do is say, I have no morals because I talk about a topic in a way that you don't like, really. Here's a person who is talking about one of our guests who says, just the biggest collection of pseudoscientific nonsense I have ever seen. Well, maybe it was, but if all you can do is insult it without really explaining in some detail why you have such a harsh judgment, delete. And here's a person who is trying to promote a conspiracy theory. Utmost respect, Mr. Mishlove. I have been a long-time follower, and this comment is off topic, but why aren't you talking about the ongoing coronavirus? All this intellectualizing and musing and deducing and philosophizing, and the entire humanity is being brainwashed. This bothers me because I think we should not just keep our head in the sand like ostriches and pretend it is all well. It is not. Well, if you think all of humanity is being brainwashed, that's a pretty strong statement. And it doesn't belong here when it's in a response to a video that has nothing to do with it. And frankly, you're promoting a right-wing conspiracy theory. You might as well be propagandizing for religion. And I really think healthy discussion is important, but just name calling and acting outraged isn't going to get you into our discussion section for the most part. Here's a person who says, you, referring to me, are the master of blending absolute horseshit with absolute cool shit. I almost took that as a compliment. I like the cool shit part. But really, if you think something on this channel is absolute horseshit, I am telling you it's incumbent upon you to explain in a thoughtful way why. And I most likely will leave that comment. Here's a person who posted a comment. It's an intelligent comment. It just uses the word shit over a dozen times. And if what you think is that kind of potty mouth language is so juvenile, I found it offensive and I deleted it. So that gets you through my list, basically. I hope that I haven't just been going on a rant of my own. My goal is to make the comments section something that everybody will find of benefit, because it will be full of thoughtful comments. Whether you agree with them or disagree with them, it might inspire you to think more deeply. So let me leave you with this question. If you were going to post a really thoughtful comment on one of our videos, what would it be? What would your thoughtful post be about? Thank you for being with me.